I'll text you because I. Still has nothing.
Okay.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for attending Edinburgh Town Council meeting Monday, March 9th, 2026. We will do a roll call. Mr. Bryan?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Myself, Mr. Huddleston, Town Attorney, John Myers, Town Manager, Ron Barrett, Clerk Treasurer. The minutes of council meeting February 23rd, 2026. Any questions or corrections?
No, I wasn't here, so I can't.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the council meeting for February 23rd, 2026.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
I abstained.
All right, claims, Mr. Barrett.
Yes, in your packet, you have 3 different claim dockets. There was one for the end of month November 2025 in the amount of $137,705.82. There was one for the end of month December 2025 in the amount of $430,004.47. And then the one for tonight in the amount of $905,479.46. Claims have been reviewed and signed.
I have a question on that. What, I think it's the November one. What is a water debt service reserve?
For the SRF loan at Bank of New York Mellon, we have 4 different accounts, and so we have to transfer money every month into that so that the debt reserve payments can be, it has to have a certain balance, and it gets transferred every month.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one, for Mr. Jesse, for the wastewater. That vac truck repair, is that for a fairly new one? Or did you got the old one? Okay, I just didn't remember who got what. The street department got the, water got the new one, but this is for.
That's consumer general. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions, council?
No, I don't have any. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the contract for employing attorney, that's that time of year. I think Mr. Huddleston's on the chopping block here, but I think he does a fantastic job for the town. So I'd like to entertain a motion to keep Mr. Huddleston's contract and services with the town. Do you have anything you'd like to?
It's the same rate for the past 5 years. Same contract.
If there are no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve contract employing attorney Dustin Huddleston for the town.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the police merit board bylaws discussion. Actually, I'm going to kind of tag chief in on this and Dustin as well. So, as you know, with the 77 fund, we created a merit board, and the merit board will act as the ruling board for the police department. We needed a new set of rules and guidelines and a standard operating procedure, standard operating guidelines for the police department to not only adhere to the town rules, but under their own rules. So these rules were kind of a combination of, I believe, other agencies, but we have tailored them to work to our community. And this is the holy grail of what to be followed by our organization. And part of this. I know you were involved in this a little bit. Chief was big, and Deputy Chief were in on this as well. So, it was under our advisement, the merit board, for you guys to take a look at this, see if you have any questions. And then if none, we could approve these and submit them to the merit board for their final review.
I have one concern, Marty. It says must not have received convictions for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs in the past 3 years. That just seems like that is very recent for drugs, under the influence. I mean, is that something that's all the other towns have? Or?
Ultimately, the Indiana State Police has to approve whether somebody has access to IDAX. IDAX is where we run warrants, all kinds of criminal information and things like that. They cannot be convicted of a felony, anything that's a misdemeanor, and under, they can accept on a case-by-case basis. Say drugs and alcohol, I gave where it's at, but it's the same thing as possession of marijuana. If it's possession of marijuana, it does not preclude you from having that access. It's on a case-by-case basis, obviously, if the state police approves it.
Well, I wouldn't approve this only because I think 3 years is just not very long for, that's just my opinion. But if that is something that other towns do, or,
I don't know where we toe the line with almost flirting with the discrimination of somebody's past. I don't know where you would draw a line to say what is and what isn't. Time is very subjective, whether you think somebody's completely turned themselves around. So I get your concern. I actually think it has a ton of merit, but I don't know if that's just to be excluded indefinitely, if you have those charges, or I don't know how you quantify that with the time value. I don't know what would say, 3 years is life changing to some people and 3 years is not to others. So I don't know if 5 is. I don't know, Dustin, you have anything you could.
I can look on that. Do you have an idea how you want to watch it? How many more years?
I would do at least 5.
5 or 7.
Yeah. I
5 or
think 3
7.
is practically, have even been through court in 3. So, I mean,
Usually about a year and a half for court.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not even been through
I
legality.
believe our insurance says for driving a town vehicles 5 years.
Yeah, and again, these were not best suit for kind of taking of everything and trying to make it work for our community. So, by all means, I think that's the right to scrutinize. Now, obviously, we have the oversight as the mayor board. Ultimately, there's a process to weed individuals out. This is a fair process, but if there's things that are to happen that maybe those individuals don't make it all the way through, but if the board's so moved to do 5 years, then we can do 5 years. Or, like I said, or exclude it entirely. I think
We being the merit board.
well, again, this is in front of you guys to have your recommendation. You are the governing body, but we are. But the merit board is the governing body for the discipline and rules and implementation for the police department. So this was sent to you guys to have your eyes on it as well.
I guess if the town, you can't drive a town vehicle for 5 years, then they really couldn't drive a police vehicle.
Well,
for 5
and
years.
I think that's the other thing. So what supersedes the police rules are the town's rules first. And then it's almost as saying the fire department has a different, stricter set of rules than what the street department does. And so it goes further in. So it's a tiered system that the town follows every policy. And then as these guys are different than the golf course and so on down. So if in fact the town policy and the insurance says, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what it says in the town policy, but if it does say 5 years for that, then that would, I think, would supersede the value of that. So I guess we should make it the same. But I don't know if that's in there or not.
And honestly, I would like a little more time to review it. I didn't have much time.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
We are,
Is there a certain date by the next
I
meeting?
cannot remember
We're
when we
meeting
have,
Thursday.
You're supposed to be Thursday.
but that's okay. And that's why this was here to, what we are kind of, and we're working on that is the implementation of the new hiring process, because we do have a vacancy, potentially two.
We have one down, one that's left, and one that's in the final process to possibly bid for by another agency. So the good thing is, I mean, graduate leave is not because of the agency, it's fortunately, it's all about the money for them. They're pretty young kids, so
Yeah.
respectful.
So I would say then let's table the matter now, and then we can
Okay.
evaluate, and then give everybody another couple of weeks to take a look at that.
Thank you.
All right, Dustin, the interlocal agreement with Shelbyville Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you recall, this was an agreement with Shelbyville Fire. Worked with Chief Waller, created a mutual aid agreement. There were some changes that went back and forth with the attorney for Shelbyville and myself, and finalized the agreement. Shelbyville is reportedly approved this document. I haven't got the signed version yet, but it's ready for your approval. Since I don't have the signed version, then I would just say, you're going to approve it, take it subject to their approval.
We need to have second to allow you to sign it. Does come.
Yeah.
Chief, you want to add anything?
No, I think we did have the signed copy.
Yeah, we'll be by the sign.
Okay.
Yeah, the board will sign it the day that you said the Tuesday.
Just has one question.
Yeah, they signed it.
Okay, then we do have it.
Yeah, it was signed March 3rd. by the-
Great.
And basically, just a reminder, it's pretty much a small quadrant of the southwest area of Shelby County, so 1,200 south over to 700 up to 1,000 over, just catching those few miles of I-65 and the Blue River Estates, I think it's called now, trailer park up to a little bit north of us off of Cutsinger. So just a small area, we're trying to mutual aid. We won't be fully obligated, we'll respond and call them off if we get there, but it is still their territory, their total obligation. We're not bound by law. If we're busy on other calls, we're just there. It's taking them 17 plus minutes to get there when we can get there in 8. So just trying to be a good mutual aid partner. Reciprocate runs out there as we can go out, we can help them on the interstate area and stuff, so yeah, they signed it, so you should have those signed versions.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm full of questions tonight, and I apologize for that. But when I was reading this, it sounds like that even if you come, they have the option to join you, to
Yeah,
come too.
and they will, if it's something that we need multiple ways, they're still gonna come and say, we can handle it.
We
So
can just get there
it's their, yeah, it's kind of their area, so it's still kind of their call. We're trying to just coordinate what we have.
They're, yes.
Comfortable with us taking it, if they need to still come on in, or,
Then who
Somebody-
gets paid? I guess is what I'm saying, is it, we're all worried about
whoever
money.
transports.
Okay, thank you, that's,
Take the patient,
thank
we'll
you.
get the money. We owe them nothing, they owe us nothing, they're not making us our equipment, we're not taking care of their equipment, we're sole into
Okay.
transport, we'll get the funds if they do.
Okay, I didn't catch that, so thank you very much.
Small area, they see a little deficiency, and then we'll get there and we're kind of staffed up now, we can help a little bit.
Okay, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
So what do we need for this, a motion
That's how you learn.
Just a straight across approval.
You guys have any? I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement for emergency medical services response between Edinburgh and Shelbyville.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Justin.
The annual conflict of interest form.
I wanted to tee this up for you a couple weeks ago, and remind you that every year we're supposed to, the town's supposed to have 2 conflicts of interest forms, and those uploaded with the employee bank of the state. It's the same with contracting statements. It's next on the agenda. So you just fill these out, provide them to Wanda and to
They don't have to be approved. I thought they had to be voted on and approved.
Right, on 2 of the instances, so once they're filled out and signed, then you have to approve it. A couple of ones, and we've already addressed these in the week before. Ms. Buck has a family relative that gives quotes to mow the cemetery, and so that has to be disclosed. And then Mr. Piercefield does on and off again work for the water department, and sewer department, as needed basis. So those we talked about before, those are disclosures to be made, and those are specifically approved. So those can be approved tonight, the other ones just need to be filled out.
We had nothing in our packet for those, right?
No, because I didn't have a completed forms.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
once those forms are completed on Ms. Buck and Mr. Piercefield,
So, on to that.
right, it's just introducing that, and Ronnie was mentioning, she and I worked on the forms and ready for you guys to. And same on the next one with, like the official contracting statements.
Okay, so we can move on that.
Correct.
Okay. The utility locator position, Mr. John. John.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Back again to see if council's had time to review the paperwork from the last meeting on this topic. Again, we would like to create a new position within the town for a utility locator. I believe on the agenda might be a salary ordinance adjustment if you so choose to move forward with this position. Here to answer any questions, and if John's got any further input he would like to give.
I have a couple questions, sir. So my first question was, in the breakdown of the cost of an in-house utility locator, where you go through the different lists, the categories, the salary, benefits, so forth and so on. Vehicle depreciation amount, and you tell us in here earlier that they have to have a vehicle. That's not the cost of a new vehicle, right? That $5,000?
No, so a new vehicle, which I assume the town will pay cash for the vehicle, so the actual purchase of the vehicle probably wasn't outlined in the packet.
Yep. If it is, I did not see that.
So right now, the vehicle is just a little over 36,000, so that is another point to bring up, that if we so choose to move forward, we do need to purchase a vehicle, and we're about 37,000 to do that.
So that new vehicle would be a add-on to, and I'm on the third page here, sir, at the bottom. That would be an add-on to that 91,700. So that'd be, well, but the vehicle, I understand, would be bought outright. That wouldn't be
It would be
for
bought
a year.
outright
And then that
depreciation.
5,000 depreciation. Okay. So you just didn't add the price of the new vehicle. And you're not going to you're not buying a used vehicle, you are buying a new one.
Prefer to buy a new one, yes.
So that cost of the yearly maintenance is shared between the three departments.
Correct.
And I just also had one more question in reference to that total of that 900 locates per month. Does that indicate, if my calculations are correct, and I'm not doubting the position at all, I'm not saying that. But is that approximately, if that's like 5 days a week, you do that, or 40 hours, that's like between 30 to 35 locates a day? Is that up for each utility, is that right? Or
So we average about 900 locates, correct, though, between all three.
It's about 300 per department, you can have 3 people to go out to them. That's where the 900 comes from.
but that's like a day, 30 some odd a day?
There's days we'll have 50 or 60, but a lot of them are remarks. Where all they have to go
Remarks?
back out and get repainted. 811's changed more the last year than they have the last 15 years total. So everything is getting now to where they're gonna start finding us for not going out and doing locates right away like we're supposed to. So I got an email today saying that we've saved, I can't remember well, $138 in fines since we've done so well trying to keep up with complete versus other communities.
And can you give us a brief rundown, sir, on exactly what constitutes needing to locate for those who may or may not know?
Right, if anybody is, whether it's your personal home or a contractor is digging on your property, it is by law that you call 811, which triggers a ticket system to all the various utilities to come out and mark their facilities. So it's on the utility companies to mark their facilities so they do not get damaged. If you're putting in a mailbox, flagpole, or on a grand scale, 252 being rebuilt.
Right. You said that was a large.
Yes.
Mhm.
That'll be a heavy burden this spring, especially if we so choose to move forward and hire an individual, they're going to get a lot of training, I would guess, along 252 as that project progresses.
You said that at the last meeting. I appreciate that.
And I'm sorry I wasn't at the last meeting and I haven't had the time to go over my packet very thoroughly. So so a question is, you're saying we could save the 200,000 per year?
So right now we're using internal staff to take care of this function of the town. And as Bill mentioned, we're sending a minimum of 3, sometimes 5, depending on how large the locate might be. So if we're locating from manhole to manhole, we might use a line of sight or a string, if you will. So to increase efficiency, we would like to bring another person in-house to concentrate only on locates. And if the locates were to drop, so let's say 252 is done, and locates were to drop below 900, or if there's free time with this position, then we're going to concentrate heavy on the mapping and updating our mapping, which is a daily occurrence. And we did, looking at outsourcing, and you've got some data in here if we were to outsource this. So there are many companies out there that do this line of work. My previous employer, we looked at this. We had one locator where we were going to add another one or outsource, and it was over $400,000 for us to outsource it. Prior to my time here, Bill and other folks had researched outsourcing, and some of them won't even give a quote. So we've got some general information, and then for my previous employer, I've done some of my own research. It's very expensive to outsource this line of work, and it's your facilities, it's your utilities out there. You want to protect that. You've got millions of dollars invested in the ground, and it's just all around better to control that person that's doing the locates for you.
So who would do the so you would hire one person to come in and do all the locates?
Correct.
Who would do that training?
So the individual departments would be involved in the training. So on the electric side, it's a little bit different. We use a little bit different equipment. On the wastewater side and the water side, if there's a trace wire, so this is a wire that runs along a water main or maybe a force main that they would connect to, and they use a wand to go out there and locate this pipe. So staff would train the individual on how to do that, and then the electric would train them how to use the special attachments for the electric utility.
And I'm sorry if you already said it, but who would the salary would be shared by
It would
all
be
the departments?
a three-way shared expense
Shared
between
expense.
the personnel costs and any equipment, vehicle that's related with it.
And who would the person report to?
We've not discussed that yet, so we could look at it from the standpoint of area. So the water utility has most likely a greater area due to serving outside the town boundaries. So maybe it makes sense that they report to the water supervisor. So that's up for discussion. I don't know that we've actually decided that.
Will they go out by themselves, or will they need to take somebody with them?
It would depend. So obviously training, they'll have somebody with them. If they're in a situation where it's a manhole to manhole, that's a long distance, they may ask for assistance from the wastewater department. If it's a situation where it's a heavy traffic area, they may need some additional for traffic flagging. But traditionally, locate service or locate person is trained, flags, cones, all that kind of stuff to be able to go out and operate on their own, to be a self-starter individual that can operate within his vehicle. That will be his office, essentially. He'll have a landing spot somewhere in one of our buildings to do training and check emails, but for the most part, they'll be in their vehicle for most of the day.
threshold window for your response on emergency locate. So if our guys, or even myself included, have a water main break or whatever that may be, that's deemed a immediate threat to life and health or safety, and it's through a questionnaire when you call the dispatch center, there's a 2-hour window that we have to fall in to make sure that we're there in 2 hours. So we provide those locates. I think that's how we're currently running it.
Yeah, and we'll continue to rely on the on-call staff for those, emergencies. We wouldn't require this new individual to be on call 24/7. But certainly during operating hours of the day, if an emergency locate were to come in, it would be their responsibility to respond right away. And then after hours, it would just fall to each department. And we could probably look at that and see whether or not there's some efficiencies where we're not sending out 3 people for after hours emergency.
John, you have any comments in reference to, I think you had told us at the last meeting that this would help free up, this one locator person would help free up the other staff.
Right, they can stay on their
On their
task,
given
what they're
tasks.
doing. We started looking at this back in
I think it was December.
September
It was last year.
last year with Mr. Clark when he was here, then when he left, we kind of put it on hold until Kevin came in, so.
So other than the, who, like Mrs. Sweet asked in reference to who's actually going to oversee that position, should we not know that now before we actually decide on the position itself, or?
I mean, there's internal control. I mean, if anything, John should, if they don't.
That's where I thought it was going to, that's where I thought they would answer to, was John, but.
But I do
We
see
discussed that.
the lay of the land, the water probably has, the water and the wastewater probably has the most. Our powers,
I think we've kind of reviewed that already.
yeah,
Depending on who.
yeah. A lot of our power is aerial still, so that's not as bad to locate, obviously. But still has to be located. Even if there's nothing there, they still have to locate the property. They'll have to come out and paint, okay, clear, whatever it is. They still have to go. You can't just write it off, so. I don't know that, but that's, like I said, worst case scenario would be to John.
Okay.
I think.
Any other questions? I will go ahead then and entertain a motion to approve the utility locator position as presented by Mr. Killinger.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next meeting will come back with actual vehicle pricing to get that officially on the agenda. And then I believe we had some software that we were going to look at, but that's similar to what's in your package already. So I think the next item on the agenda is the salary.
Yeah, in your packet, you have the salary ordinance containing this position. There is not a copy tonight to sign because I didn't know if it would get approved. The pay range is $18 to $25. If that's agreeable with you, if that's, because I think in the paperwork that Mr. Killinger presented at the first meeting, it said the pay would be $25, so I maxed it at 25. If you prefer it to be a different range, then that could be adjusted. This is the first reading, but that reading can be waived if you want to approve it. And then I can bring the copy back at the next meeting for actual signature.
So was you thinking of bringing the person in at the top right then? At 25? Yeah. I was just thinking you might want to take it up to 27, just to have a little leeway. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the first reading, so
Yeah.
this gives you guys the opportunity to adjust that if you want, leave it the same, or,
Okay.
Since we're playing in a field where there are a lot of utility locate companies, and we're trying to find the best of that person, it's probably going to be advantageous for us to go to the top end so we can
That's
take,
what I was
because
thinking.
we're
Yeah.
not looking for one, they're looking for a bunch.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I think we ought to leave it up just so we don't have to revisit this and whatever
change and then we have to do it soon.
So update it 18 to 27 as the pay range.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a motion for that, right, along with the,
Your first reading?
No, if that's a consensus, probably amend it, you would want somebody to have a motion to approve it at the next meeting, in second.
Okay.
So you don't need to do it.
how soon again were you looking to do this?
So I believe tomorrow's the deadline for the internal applicants, and then we hope to push out to the open market, if you will. We have one internal that's interested, but would like to know more information about the position before they officially apply.
Thank you for answering all of our questions.
Yep, thank you.
You too, Bill and Mr. Jesse.
Westler invoice number 49023 for the water treatment plant repair.
Yes, had in your packet an invoice from Westler for the water treatment plant engineering in the amount of $3,193. Bill has reviewed and is okay with this invoice. It's ready for approval for payment and needs approval for Ryan to sign.
Any questions?
No.
I make a motion to approve invoice 49023 for $3,192.50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a motion that Brian Piercefield, president, can sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, John, the Walnut Street Industrial Garage stop sign discussion, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, you may recall, back in January, there was a resident came in talking about intersection of Walnut Industrial Drive. People heading north, cutting across in front of them as they're going southbound onto Industrial Drive. You guys asked me to look into it. The original design that was redone had the 3 stop signs in there. Mr. Watson came in and asked to remove 2 of them so that they were not needed. I've been down there numerous times over the last couple of weeks. It's a double yellow line coming north and south, so people coming north, they're supposed to yield the right of way to the people southbound. They're just not paying attention. We could put another stop sign back or 2, or the chief and I talked about just putting a sign that cross traffic doesn't stop.
Yeah, I would say
That sounds
that.
good.
We can try that first,
Yeah.
and if that doesn't work, we can come back and ask Dustin to change it, and we can install a stop sign or 2. Right now, I think just a warning sign.
Yeah, we're creatures of habit. If we go and we change it back again, it will cause a problem.
Yeah.
We looked at that intersection, just trying to use the 100 blocks, but you never know how this bad puts in. We can't find any traffic crashes there. I'm saying there's not some close calls, but then again, there's close calls in Fort Street where we've got the stop signs too. Guilty. But, you know, you get in there and you just treat your habit. So, I think that warning will suffice. I mean, if we start having more crashes or more problems there, I think maybe we look into it, but I'm with John, I think we should put that sign in first.
I think so, yeah.
Get the keep traffic flow down.
So I'm just reporting back on it. That's our thoughts. And if you guys are good with that, we'll get the street department with some signs ordered. We're gonna put up. We don't need a resolution for that or anything. It's just a warning sign. So that's a good thing. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, John.
Daniel, the tiered insurance discussion, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Basically, it's, we haven't really changed anything since we were here last. We've been talking about this for a couple months. What I'd like is for council to approve us being able to use the tiered risk and insurance requirements for town-supported events and vendors and use the spreadsheet with the different companies and their tier levels as a recommendations on how to address all of those. If you have any questions,
Just wanted you the chance to look at this.
No, I didn't. I missed the last meeting. and-
Yeah, you've had a lot going on.
Yeah,
Daniel, I think because of that, I think it's fair, because she did the initial presentation. And it's, I think it would be fair with her unfortunate circumstances, to maybe table this for just one more meeting.
okay.
I don't think we're gonna be behind the eight ball or anything, are we currently, or if we're 2 weeks longer out?
It just lining up certain vendors for events and programs until we have a clear instructions on what we're looking for insurance-wise. It does make it a little more difficult to get them, but we should still be fine 2 weeks from now.
yes.
All right.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay, Stan? Yeah. The four different contract quotes. We are, Stan and I think John is involved in this as well, been working on this pretty diligently. Not to steal Stan's thunder, but they've been working out of a truck that's been salvaged, that's been stolen, that's had everything under the sun happen to it. And I know we're looking at everything with SB1, SA1, but if you remember and recall, the Badger Fund is a revolving fund that is specifically only used for improvements of the cemetery. And this is one of the things that the Badger Fund can be used for. Cannot be used for personnel, but it is part of the beautification of the town. So Stan and I talked about this and we figured out what can we get 20 years out of? And this is what Stan found. So I think it'll suit what we're looking for, and I stole your thunder. I apologize.
Feel free, I'm not good in front of public.
You did
Big
good
speeches
write-ups,
anyways.
Stan. It was very, very
Yeah.
explicit.
Thank you.
I think you think it's white road, I think sure.
She gave me good
Very
advice,
I think
good
so.
advice.
Okay.
Yeah, his current truck is not operable now, and it's sitting out at the street department in the bullpen. And it's costing more to fix it than what it's worth.
We get a lot of life out of it.
It's a 1998 Chevy 4x4, utility truck.
It's floated all over the place.
Yeah, it's been through the electric department, ours, several others have used it over the years. So, and the truck that I found and I'm proposing, it's a long-term truck with a aluminum dump bed, stainless steel salt spreader. What I'm trying to do here is alleviate the street department having to pull off the streets during like this snow emergency, which is where we lost our truck, got mechanical issues. But it keeps them from having to come into the cemetery if I have a service the next day to keep the roads pushed out and get the salt down so someone won't slip and fall and break their hip or leg or something. So I added the salt spreader to it so we could kind of be more independent with that. Plus, if we needed to, we could help around town with other issues too, if we need to. It's kind of a universal truck. It's just not just a cemetery use instead of, because I kind of looked into some other options and I just thought this was the best overall option for a long-term purchase. I mean, we average about 20 years out of our vehicles at the cemetery without having to replace them before we have to replace them. So,
Just leave enough money in your Badger Fund too, for emergencies that come up that you can.
yes, we're currently very good there on that. This would not bother that at all. We're in really good shape there.
Good.
I have that. I have an end of the year balance, which if you need that, I have it. We're in good shape on that. Yes.
It's just, we were blessed with that fund, and it's
Yeah.
been an absolute game changer. And we dove into it here a few years back and looked into it. It'll be there for a long time.
It just increases every month.
And I did receive 3 bids from 3 different dealers, and I run across Brad Howell Ford up in Kokomo, which uses a little bit different pricing. They use the government price concessions from Ford, which knocked off some money off the overall price of the other 2 trucks, so that's why this was a little lower bid. But they're all 3 the exact same model truck with the same spreader and same aluminum bed, so there was not a large amount of price difference between the 3 of them, and with that type of different pricing, it did allow us to save a little money too, so, for the same exact truck.
And that's who you want to go with in the Brad Howe.
Yeah, that's what I'm proposing, to buy this from Brad Halford and Kokomo. They were the lowest bid of the three. And like I said, this is the exact, all three dealers had the exact same
Exact
truck.
same thing.
So they're having to order the truck. It's just an order. in
How
cab.
long before you can pick this one up?
The cab and chassis was, I think he said 8 to 10 weeks, and then I'll have to send it to, they will send it to the upfitter, which in general, I think I had talked to Sean, and that's sometimes 2 weeks. It could be a little longer, but being the
Yeah.
winter's over, I would think that
It'll be
type
okay.
of upfitting would be a little quicker.
Yeah.
So hopefully 8 to 10 weeks, maybe 12. So, but winter's over, so we could, but we can, that's the reason, the
Well, we hope
purpose for this
winter's
truck
over.
is to use it. Well, we can use it for other things too. It's a dump bed
Exactly.
truck, so we could use it for hauling off brush and other options too. So it'd be more useful than just a standard pickup truck.
Any questions or
No.
anything, council?
I'll entertain a motion then for the purchase of a Ford F-350 dump truck from the Brad Howell Ford in Kokomo, as presented in the amount of $90,847 for the cemetery.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, do we need to add that to the grand total or? is
That-
all gonna be paid?
Is that going to be a
It's
separate?
all going to Brad.
Yes, all
Yeah.
that's going
So
to a
it's gonna be
dealer.
this total, because it's all, we're gonna write one check to
Yeah.
Brad now for.
That's, she did say the total, 90,000.
No, this is the additional, the upfitter. So they're gonna take the Clark equipment for us. So,
Oh, I thought that was added in there.
yeah, so it's this.
It is.
The truck is just a cab and chassis, doesn't have a head on it.
Okay.
It's just a bare bones.
Plus the 37,537.
Well, the $90,000 is the total for the truck. Out of
That's
the,
the truck in the outfitter?
from my explanation from Brad
Yeah,
Halford,
sign it
yes.
fast.
Okay, yeah.
So I hope that's, I mean, I hope that I'm not misleading you there, but I asked before I come up here, call.
That
This
was
is
for
a-
everything that you wrote on
Yes,
this,
but
right?
you
That's what I
might check,
saw.
yeah. I mean, if you want to read through his paperwork with it, that is the total. Or the truck itself, I think total out at 59,890, and then
Yeah,
the chassis total was 53,310.
Yeah,
see,
so-
right there.
Yeah, okay, then I did not think of that. Gee, so I don't mean that, that's not dismissing of that.
Yeah, that is what that
We were
says.
anticipating higher, so.
Well, that's what I was hoping. I mean, that's the way I took it and when I called, because I thought the same thing. And I called to make sure. And he said, yes, the total chassis cost was 53,310. And then the upfitting was 37,537 for a total of 98,47.
So $90,847.
Yes.
Okay, got a motion and a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And just to let you know too, that truck came with an additional, it's a 5-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty because it's a municipal purchase vehicle.
Good
Thank
write-up,
you very
Steve.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, other business. Mike, do you have anything? Sharon?
I'd like to commend the fire department, because not only did Justin do one of our alumni spotlights, but Chuck Redpath came in and did basic CPR for a health class. And that was a really neat thing, and hopefully you'll be in the paper next week. But, thank you for taking your time to support the school.
No.
Yeah, I want to express our thanks and gratitude to Chief Little for being instrumental with the signals, the designated turning signals out at 31 and CVS. That was much needed. As everybody knows, my family was affected by it very deeply. And my chief had started on that, I think, a little bit after the accident last year in June, and it took up to this point. I received an email from someone here in town actually telling me that that was going up, and they hadn't even notified chief yet. So, but I just appreciate all his help and whoever else was instrumental. And because I know NDOT's its own entity, and that was, I think, excellent timing for coming around for something like that. I'm sorry that we've had to endure that many accidents out there, that chief had to be instrumental in getting that push, but we all thank you, Chief, not only my family, but as a community. I think that was one of the most well-needed signaling out there in town. So again, we thank you,
Didn't
sir.
have a good working relationship that the town had with
Yeah.
It is. Yes, it is. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I was going to let you guys, the council, know that all our departments, Bill, Bond, Street Department, they're all doing continuing education. They're not just sitting around. Every facet of it has it. Chief Little has an active shooter training. That was great, so I've heard. Chief Lawler had the sim lab down with teaching the working with paramedics, and they've done a fantastic job with the cadaver training at JMH. You've got the maze down there coming up. So, nobody's sitting around. They're getting with it, and I appreciate the fact that every one of them are out trying to continue to better themselves. So I commend all of you for that, because it's not fun, but we all got to do it. So I think I can speak for that, all four. We thank you for striving to do the best you can do. I don't have anything else. John, do you have anything?
I just want to thank the street department and the wastewater. After all the snow melted, the drains were all covered up, and they were out sweeping, backing drains, and I think it really helped out this last rain. And we got more rain coming tomorrow, so we'll see how it plays out.
Bob, would you take care of our Florida sinkhole?
Yeah, that's kind of what the sinkhole, I think we determined that it was something the gas company had a contract to do more on, and then it finally settled, and we opened it up and got it back filled, and got a street department put a little plate over it, so it's all done.
Thank you. That's a good one.
Yeah, just a quick one. We'll have a public hearing at the next meeting for additional appropriations. I know we need to get appropriations to spend the plaza funds. We need appropriation for the ambulance where we purchased it, and then there's one more now. My mind's blank on that right now. So there's like three different additional appropriations. So that will be at the next meeting.
Chief Will?
Just on the end of the month, we've been pretty busy on the rec thing. So, if the public sees something, say something, we try to help people get the drugs being dealt, but also getting the addiction thing taken care of. And, I think the second week after we come back from spring break, myself and Mr. Hogan's going back to the school. We're going to spend an 8-hour day teaching health class on addiction, narcotics. So, it's a good team effort to be able to be in our kids' lives, be out there. They talk about it. So we did an active shooter training for Eastside Elementary for the teachers, and got positive feedback. We're supposed to do, we're supposed to do another one for the teachers as well, just more of a prep thing. So public safety is over. We're not going to them.
Chief Waller? Julie?
Just wanted to mention, I had my report that we had administrative training on our new public software last week. Next week we have the user training, so we are moving forward with people in the training. So more than thank you for allowing us to move forward with that.
Good job as always. Bob? Ma'am?
We're about to get going on Little League season. We've been doing registration, starting to form some teams, practices are going to start happening. Everything's going to get real busy out there. We will be starting to do interviews this next week with some of our seasonal help, the aquatic center, or concession stand, summer maintenance, all those positions. We started doing some fun work down at the park today, pulling out old playground equipment. We're looking at probably an April date for a new playground to be installed. I don't have a finalized date yet on that, but that's right around the corner. That might have been your other appropriation.
It was. To spend that money.
Get excited for that to come around. We've been meeting and planning for the 4th of July. It's on Saturday this year. We've got 3 bands lined up. It's going to be a whole day. We've got the Corvette Club coming to town for a car show. It's going to be a great, long, fun day. So, Saturday, July 4th.
America turns it 250 years old, and Edinburgh's gonna do it right, so. we're excited about
John? Bill?
ISI, the people that did, doing the hydrants will be on the ground here shortly, so you'll be seeing some people changing fire hydrants out soon. Other than that, things are going good.
Kevin?
Thank you.
Stan, anything else?
I just want to bring up that we are currently being advertised for spring cleanup, so if I have any questions, then feel free to call the office. And for me, this time, doing Christmas, winter decorations and stuff, it's so curious to start on here. Thank you there. And I'd like to thank you again for your support, lots of you, for posting, and just glad I'm very excited to hear one.
Sarah Beth, I went to the state of the town address on Brian, it went great, a lot of attendees. I did speak with Blue Lamb and about their stage and the block that we're going to use, that I'm so honored to actually kind of have that block going over there, that I don't have to volunteer our services again. But I did speak with Blue Lamb, the owner of that establishment, and we talked about what we were going to do there. The only thing he added, and I didn't even know about it, was stabilized line, John. That's what we were going to build. And I thought, good idea. So if we throw some of that down there, we definitely have it. He's like, yeah, throw everything, you got it. So they're excited about working with us. I think it's going to be great. They seem really positive about it. And I think they're world renowned. They are fantastic. And we're lucky to have them. That is how it works. I know they're, obviously, you're talking with them, so, but I did want to share that with everybody, because they're getting rolling over there with their pavilion very soon. So I hope we get that way too.
Yeah, thank you. So going off of that, we actually met on Friday with another, from RBI, so the landscape architect, but it's to do with civil site, engineering of that, space, and she's familiar, she actually lives in Edinburgh on the Shelby County side, and so very familiar with the space, was really excited about the project, and we're waiting on a proposal from RBI, and once we get that, then we'll have kind of 3 different proposals of engineering firms, and yeah, we took the specs that Blue Lamb provided, and, you know, she was really impressed by those, and thought that would look great there, and be able to work with that, so. Yep, really excited about that. And the only other thing is, Emily and I have been working on, as you recall, getting our website post is ending at the end of this year. And so we have been kind of doing interviews and getting proposals from different website providers. And so we really need a decision next meeting on this, so it'll be in your packets, and I'll send some more information. But we're trying to get it as much apples to apples as we possibly can, and it's a little difficult. All of these different website posts, even if they provide similar, the implementation and all the different add-ons, some of them are incorporated and some of them are actual add-ons that we would pay an annual fee. So we're trying to kind of just decipher all this information and get it to be as apples to apples as we can for you. But most of them are going to take probably between 20 and 28 weeks to implement, and we would really like to have the new website up and running before we lose our other websites. We want to get going on this as soon as possible. So that'll all be in your package for the next meeting, and I'll send some more info. So if you've got any questions about that, please let me know ahead of time. I'll try to get those answers. Thank you.
I want to interject a question for you there, Sarah. One of the add-ons you're looking at is like the meeting agenda builder, correct?
Yes, there was a, meeting agenda and minute builder.
And some of those have the option, I know some of you have asked to get your packets earlier with these meeting agenda builders. Some of them have that ability for us to upload documents. You guys would have iPads where you could get information sooner, possibly. So that's something I wanted to do a couple of years ago.
And we've talked about
Yeah, we
that
talked
before,
about
yeah.
it, and it just didn't work
Right.
at that time, but that is something that is part of this package, which could mean that the price is a little increased depending on which package we go with.
Yeah, that's an add-on.
I know, I like the paper version, send that note.
Me too.
Things on it. I'll make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.